first question. Teacher shortages have been in the national news. Districts across the country are struggling to fill vacancies. Some reports suggest there are over 36,000 unfilled teaching positions nationwide, and a recent study found that there are over 2,000 teaching vacancies in Arizona alone. 800 of those are special education. To add to the stress, districts are having trouble filling classified positions such as special education paraprofessionals, bus drivers, and food service workers. Over the past 2 years, Gilbert Public Schools has increased teacher pay by more than 9%, and yet we continue to have vacancies. As a governing board member, what would you suggest to help the district attract and retain talented educators and staff? And we'll actually just go in our order here. Ms. Jonas, then Mrs. Humphreys, and then Ms. Evans.
Okay, thank you so much. So these are all really hard problems. Obviously, Gilbert is not alone in our shortages and all of that. It's statewide and actually nationwide. So first off, I think offering competitive salaries is key. Also, even just keeping up with inflation. I know it was exciting that the district was able to offer, I think it's around 14%, increase in teacher pay, but considering inflation was about 8%, it's really not that great. I think we could do better. So I think it is really important that we stay current, and that's a really important thing. But besides salaries, because that's not something we have complete control over, because we don't get to control the legislature, and we just have to do what we can with what we're given, for the most part, is I believe one of the most important things, part of job satisfaction, is a work environment. I think it's really important to make sure that teachers and staff have all the resources that they need to adequately do their jobs. I think they need to have options for further professional growth and upward mobility, if they choose. I think they need to have support and mentorship to help them be more successful. I know I've heard that from many teachers I've talked to, that they wish they had that support and mentorship help. I also believe increasing parental engagement can help here as well. I know that teachers who are on campuses where they feel very supported and loved by their teachers, that they have a much better experience and probably overall better job satisfaction than those teachers who are at more struggling schools that don't have the parent support. So increasing that across the whole district so that our teachers feel loved. And really just in general, it's a statewide problem, is just the overall change in perception. How do we get more people to even go into education? That's beyond Gilbert, right? That's beyond the scope of what we can really do, but even just working with, general just overall public perception and help and trying to recruit people into the profession of education. I know everyone has an individual reason of why they went into it, and maybe trying to promote that and improve that.
Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate the opportunity to share. This is a very difficult area. It's not just our district, but it's across Arizona. I think that fortunately Gilbert Public Schools has probably been a little less impacted than some other districts, but it's still a problem. And I'm really proud of the fact that in my time on the board, we've moved from being a district that pays less than other districts to competitive pay. When we did our new salary schedule, I think we learned some things, and we're working really hard to keep that pay competitive and keep it so that we can say that we pay the same as other districts, not just for teachers, but for administrators and staff as well. I think a lot is in respect for teachers and the profession. And I would say part of the challenge sometimes is dealing with parents. So I think it's important to help our parents understand, coming in to discuss a challenge with a student, let's be partners, let's be collaborative, let's find a solution that we can work on together. I really think it's important to have smaller class sizes. That is my next big push, and that is something I did ask for when we had these funds coming in from the state. The problem is we don't have teachers that we can hire to make those smaller class sizes. So it is something across the state that we need to work on. I also think that when we have a good culture in our schools and where kids know the high expectations and that we're supporting that positive behavior, I think that's really, really important so that we don't have to deal with discipline issues. Lastly, I think one thing I would like to consider, state statute has to change, but I would love to consider offering teacher housing, especially to new graduates who are coming in and have to repay their student loans. Thanks.
Hi, thank you so much for putting this on. It's a pleasure to be with you all tonight. My vision throughout this campaign is putting students first, and when I think about that, the first thing that comes to my mind is first and foremost, we have to take care of those that interact with our students on a daily basis, the people that have the greatest impact on our children day to day, and that is our teachers. So in addition, I agree with what both Jill and Trina have said about competitive salaries. We have to be competitive. I'm so grateful that we've been able to do that a little bit better, and that our district has focused their priorities on that. I think that's been awesome. And especially as they've done it across the board for the whole district, I think that's great. Something that I believe in very much, that's why I campaigned the last couple of overrides I've co-chaired to really fight for that, because I do believe in that very much. In addition to this, I wish I had the golden ticket answer. One of the things that I hear a lot from teachers is there's so much on their plate, they just want to just teach. And so I think what I would like to see us do a little bit better is just really dig in and find out what that is. Are there things that we can, mitigate a little bit as a district to help? I know there's stuff that comes down from the state, but are there things that we can, not necessarily pass on or help just make that a little bit easier for our teachers? I'm a big believer in protecting our instruction time in our classroom. We have to provide a robust curriculum and give you guys all the support and proper training to implement that. I also want us to be very intentional in soliciting positive feedback from our parents and our students. I know we have our Teacher Appreciation Week, and I think that's so awesome, but I would love to see us do that a little bit more throughout the year. Is solicit that feedback. And then also to attract teachers, we need to get more students and be competitive.